Catcher time, name code Dustin here, Fantasy Smack Talk. We're going to be doing all the rankings, put them into tiers. We got two guys at the top. Dustin?
All right, our first guy, Carlos Santana. You know, the average wasn't there, but he's still only 26. We still like this guy's upside. 27 home runs. You got to like that out of your catcher. And we are expecting big things from him this year. That's why we got him at number 1. Number 2, we got Buster Posey. Everyone knows him at this point. He's been hyped up a lot. And he did live up to some of that hype last year. Showed us some reasons for why he has been hyped so much. And we expect him to have a pretty solid year this year.
All right, tier 2 starts off with Matt Wieters. And you know, when he first came up, he was pretty much a disappointment. But his second half, he came on really strong. He ended the year with 22 home runs. He's got the pedigree. We really like the upside of this kid. At number 4, we got Mike Napoli. You know, this guy, under 400 bats, had a ridiculous year last season. With that said, he's a career average about 260 hitter. He batted 320 last year. So we think that average is going to come down, and hence why we got him ranked here. Then at number 5, we have Brian McCann, just a solid catcher across the board. Pretty good average, good power. Then we got Joe Mauer. You know, the thing about Mauer was he was banged up all last year, but he still ended with about a 280 average. We think that he could really pull it back up to that 300 range this year. Then rounding out this tier is Jesus Montero. Granted, he doesn't have catch eligibility in all leagues quite yet. He was traded for Pineda, so we really don't see, the Mariners having him just be in their DH the entire year. With that said, when he gets that eligibility, he's a great guy hitting for average.
Tier 3 starts out with one of the best young catchers in the league, and that's Alex Avila for the Tigers. That offense just got more potent, so look for more guys to be on base when he gets up. We really like this guy's upside this year. He should have a solid year. Next, we got Miguel Montero. Out there with Arizona, he's 29 now, but he's still putting up solid numbers. Whenever a catcher can give you over a 280 average, almost 20 home runs, over 80 RBIs, you gotta love that, and we see no reason why he can't do it again this year. Moving down, we have JP Arancibia. Here's the deal with him. One of the best catcher prospects in the league, but that average is just a little scary. Right there around 220 batting average last year, but 23 home runs. So you might have to deal with a lot of 0 for 5 nights, but he's going to get you some home runs. And the last guy in this tier, Wilson Ramos, he had that little abduction scare out there in his home country, but he's back. He's ready to go for the Nationals, 25 years old. A lot of upside here at catcher as well. We're hoping for big things from him this year.
Tier 4 starts off with Salvador Perez, the Kansas City Royals. Young guy, only 22 years old, hit for average a season ago in his limited time in the majors. We certainly like his upside. Definitely an average guy that you can get for your catchers. Next, we have Jonathan LaCroix. He's another younger guy that's, kind of coming up through the ranks. We certainly like him as well. He was decent across the board last year, and he does have that upside. Next on the list, we have Yadier Molina. If you're going to take Molina, you're going to want a guy, you're looking for your catcher to just kind of hit for average, give you a little bit of pop. Then at number 15, we have Russell Martin. Playing on the Yankees, he's certainly going to have the opportunity to be driving in runs. And the last guy in this tier is Soto. Since his rookie campaign, he really hasn't ever lived up to the hype or what people hoped he would do for fantasy. But he did show that promise years ago, so we got to rank him at this point.
Taking a look at our last tier, we start with a guy that actually has to curve his name to fit it on his shirt, and that's Saltalamacchia for Boston. He's going to get a great opportunity this year. He's never really had a full season of at-bats. Last year he did have over 350, and he showed some promise. The only problem here was his batting average, but he should get some nice RBI opportunities out there for Boston. Next, we have Kurt Suzuki. At this point, we're not expecting big things from him, but if it's late in the draft and you're desperate for a solid catcher, you can do a lot worse. Moving down, we got Ryan Dumit for the Twins. He's probably going to see a lot of time at DH and filling in for Joe Mauer when he needs off days, but he's one of the few catchers in the league that can bat for average, so you got to love that. He's getting a little older these days, though, but not as old as the next guy, AJ Pierzynski, 36 years old at this point, but he's still doing it. Batted almost 290 last year. The power numbers have definitely taken a decline, but he's still a serviceable catcher. You can get really late. Last guy we're going to talk about is Josh Tole for the Mets. He is a young catcher that has had some hype around him. He hasn't quite lived up to it yet, but the upside is still definitely there, and he's going to get a nice opportunity to be the everyday catcher for the Mets.
So there you have it with all the catchers. Be sure to go on to the site and post any questions you have in our forums. Check out all of our other videos. And of course, we're going to have that top 100 cheat sheet available for you.
Oh, yeah.
Catchers!